George Orwell's novel 1984 came out way back in 1949. But man, does it describe a world that feels a little too familiar sometimes. You know, it's one of those books that doesn't just sit on a shelf. It seems to fly off of it whenever reality starts getting, well, Orwellian. So let's dive into why this dystopian story is still one of the most important warnings for the world we're living in right now. So get this. Back in 2017, a presidential counselor, Kellyanne Conway, was on TV defending a statement by calling it alternative facts, and the internet just exploded. Everyone immediately started making the connection to Orwell's world, and the result? A book that was almost 70 years old shot straight to the #1 spot on the Amazon bestseller list, just like that. And hey, that wasn't a one-time thing. A few years earlier, in 2013, news broke about the NSA's mass surveillance programs. And guess what happened? Sales of 1984 spiked like crazy, by as much as 700%. It seems like whenever that line between our privacy and government oversight gets blurry, people instinctively reach for Orwell. So what is it about this particular story written right after World War II that hits so close to home for us today? Well, to figure that out, we're going to break down 3 of its most powerful and, honestly, most prophetic ideas. Okay, first up, the all-seeing state. In Orwell's nightmarish world, this was all about the telescreen, a device that was always on, always watching, always listening. But the truly mind-blowing part is how this piece of fiction from the 1940s stacks up against the tech we have in our pockets today. So, Orwell's telescreen was this big, clunky TV that the government forced into every home. You couldn't turn it off, ever. Now, think about today's telescreen, your smartphone. Here's the crazy part Orwell never saw coming. We don't just accept it. We line up for it. We pay hundreds of dollars for the newest model, and we built our entire social lives around it. The surveillance didn't just become real. We volunteered for it. Look, this isn't some fringe conspiracy theory. It's literally written into law. After 9/11, things like the USA Patriot Act gave the government massive new powers to monitor its own citizens. And you see similar laws all over the world, like Australia's Data Retention Act, that make collecting our digital footprints totally official. What Orwell imagined as pure oppression has been rebranded as security. But being watched is only one part of the equation. Maybe the most chilling thing Orwell predicted was a government so powerful it could control not just what you do, but what you know. A power to rewrite the past itself. This is where we get into the battle for reality. And at the very heart of this is a concept Orwell called doublethink. Now, the official definition sounds a little academic, but it's basically the mental gymnastics you have to do to believe 2 opposite things at the same time. To accept whatever the party tells you today, even if it totally contradicts what they told you yesterday. A Reddit user actually put it perfectly for our time. It's more than just being a hypocrite. It's about actively deciding to forget there's a contradiction in the first place, so you can genuinely, truly believe your own lie. The most famous example in the book is just wild. The party is in the middle of this big public rally, and they suddenly announce that their main enemy has changed. One second, they're at war with Eurasia, the next, Eastasia, and the crowd just switches, instantly accepting that Oceania has always been at war with Eastasia. All history, all memory, just rewritten on the spot. Today, you don't really need a ministry of truth to do that. All you need is an AI-generated deepfake. Just imagine a totally fake video of a politician dropping a week before an election. It could spread so fast across social media that the truth would never have a chance to catch up. Suddenly, reality is just whatever video you saw last. But here's an interesting twist. This same tech world that gives us deepfakes might also offer a defense. Things like blockchain could act as an anchor to reality. Think of it like a permanent, unhackable digital birth certificate for a file. You could check a suspicious video against its original fingerprint on the blockchain, and any mismatch would instantly flag it as fake. It's a tool Winston Smith definitely could have used. Okay, so that brings us to the final and maybe the most terrifying tool of control, language itself. The theory is simple but brilliant. If you can control the words people use, you can control the thoughts they can have. This was the whole terrifying goal of Newspeak. See, the genius of Newspeak wasn't just about banning certain words. It was about shrinking the very dictionary of thought. The party figured if they could get rid of words like freedom or rebellion or justice, then over time, people would lose the ability to even form those concepts in their minds. A rebellious thought would become, as Orwell put it, literally unthinkable. This quote from the book just nails it perfectly. They didn't get rid of the word free, they just hollowed it out. They surgically removed its meaning, its power, its connection to anything important, like political liberty or intellectual freedom. I mean, just look at this comparison. You can see the theft right there. In Old Speak, that's our language, free is this huge, powerful idea. In Newspeak, it just means something is without something else. By doing this to word after word, the party built a prison for the mind, and the bars were made of language. So when you put all of it together, the surveillance, the manipulation of truth, the control of language, you get the world of 1984. And in the book, there's this one small, seemingly insignificant object that comes to represent everything the party is trying to crush. Winston, our main character, buys this old glass paperweight in a junk shop. It's a beautiful, totally useless thing from a time before the party, a time when something could just be beautiful for its own sake. For him, it becomes this physical link to a real past, a pocket of objective truth that hasn't been rewritten, something real he can hold in his hand. And of course, the moment they finally arrest him, the first thing they do is smash it on the floor. And that's no accident. Its shattering symbolizes just how fragile truth and hope really are. When that little piece of glass breaks, so do Winston's last hopes of ever holding on to an independent reality. And really, that leaves all of us with the final big question. Is 1984 a prophecy? A roadmap to a future we're just destined to live out? Or is it what Orwell always meant for it to be, a warning sign on the road, reminding us that the fight for truth, for privacy, and for the freedom to think for ourselves